Hello everyone and welcome back. It's Zakiziel here and tonight I'll be reacting to 5-ish Minute Lore episode 18 Trazyn the Infinite by Old Man Reacts. I am looking forward to see how the Commissar escapes from Trazyn's gallery. And highly recommend, by the way, that you guys check out his channel if you haven't already done so. A link to the original video will be in the description box below. But without further ado, let us begin. Oh, and if you enjoy watching this with me, then I'd appreciate a like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for getting me... by the way, also, thanks for getting me to 200 subs. I appreciate all of you guys.
You are free of the stasis chamber and have neural lag.
I can't see.
Your eyesight will return in time.
Where am I?
Trazyn the Infinite's galleries.
Who are you?
Oh, for fuck's sake, get on your feet. Stasis is not that bad.
Well, excuse me for wanting to have a moment here.
Come.
Having a Star Wars moment like Han Solo.
We must leave swiftly.
General Medicaid warning. The views expressed in 5-ish Minute Lore, the lore delivered in rants, are sanctioned by their scholar Progenium as excess rageous. Prolonged exposure can result in loss of IQ.
Well, at least his Necron friend rescued him.
And blunt force trauma to the skull, resulting in unconsciousness. Please consult your local physician for more information.
I wanna be the biggest pest, like no one ever was.
Ah, yes.
Catch only the very best, to display them is my cause.
Where he keeps Pokemon Master Trazyn capturing things for his collection.
All across our lands, searching far and wide. Pissing off Xeno Sandman, I'm the biggest dick alive! Trazyn!
Makes sense considering, if I remember correctly, there was the Infinite and the Divine, where Orokin the Diviner, the Diviner, and Trazyn the Infinite were basically having a scuffle where the two of them were trying to troll each other.
What do you get when you combine a Necron Lord with all the time in the world, his own planet, and an obsession with hoarding that borders on the pure psychopathic? This guy, Trazyn the Infinite. In the list of people I've covered, there are several who could be listed as the top 5 in a given category. Trazyn the Infinite is no exception. Only he comes in the top 5 of 2 major categories, and he is by far the winner of the 4th. Trazyn, while being one of the biggest assholes in the setting and one of the top 2 for the biggest collection of random stuff in the setting, is the undisputed Lord and Master of Kleptomania. The Blood Ravens chapter can have as much in their reliquary as they want, but they can only stand in slack-jawed awe at the quantity and quality of the collection that Trazyn has amassed.
Which, by the way, I heard that GW tried to reconcile that whole thing with the Blood Ravens, and them, well, being the bloody magpies, is stealing chapter relics, and said that, oh, well, they train librarians for other chapters, and in exchange for this, the other chapters will give them relics as a thank you.
The only major difference between the first and second place in the theft department is that while the Blood Ravens will take whatever isn't bolted down and come back with interesting backstories as to how they actually found it, Trazyn comes in with bolt cutters and a blowtorch and says, yeah, I fucking stole it, and then dares you to do anything about it. Here is a short list of some of the things that are sitting in his personal collection in Stasis Fields on the planet of Solonus, where he spends his time admiring his life of grand larceny and kidnapping. He has a clone of the Primarch Fulgrim. Yes, a clone of a Primarch. No, I'm not kidding. He traded Fabius Bile 18,000 samples of pure strain Emperor's Children gene seed for it like a kid trading baseball cards. How did he get a hold of the gene seed? Do you really want to know? He's got about a 10,000 point army of Vostroyan Firstborn, and no, I'm not kidding. He literally captured an entire hive fleet just to have it, but he had to let it go when they kept getting out and wrecking things. Remember those
I wonder where it ended up after he released it.
regiments from the planet of Tanth that just disappeared? Aisle 8, right next to the custodian in the exhibit with the Catachan jungle fighters. He has an entire wraith-prone choir from the craft world of Altazar. How'd he get it? Do you want to know? I don't. Speaking of which, he kidnapped an entire Eldar High Council. When some of Dorn's sons of the Legion of the Damned were putting the craft world of Eldhari to the sword, he kidnapped all of them. No, I'm not kidding. What can be more stupidly ridiculous than that? He has a quark. No, I didn't mispronounce orc. He has a quark. No, I'm not kidding. And while I...
Yep, the bigger, meaner, and smarter predecessors to the orcs, who wore power armor, which, if I remember correctly, was more advanced than most of the stuff that Imperium of Man has access to. And that was just what they'd just wear for armor as a standard.
I have zero tolerance for most things Trazyn related. The one thing I literally die laughing about is one of his exhibits as a member of the Tau Watercast who came to negotiate with him but apparently didn't know how to draw big titty Tau fire warriors that would appeal to a creature millions of years old and made out of necrodermis. This isn't even half or even the most ridiculous things he has collected over the years, and no, I'm still not kidding. Aside from having turned the psychological disorder of kleptomania into a lifestyle choice, Trazyn also holds Olympic gold for being an absolute dick. And unfortunately, while in 40k, the cure for dickishness is a blunt object to the face, Trazyn long ago realized that some people violently object to having their most prized possessions or themselves being turned into exhibits. Basically,
Oh, there's also, if I remember correctly, up until the 13th Black Crusade happened, Trazyn the Infinite did in fact have some, I think it was like a bell or something, that tolled 13 times, and each time it tolled, and this thing tolled despite the fact that it was locked up in, I think like was a Tesseract labyrinth. It should have been in stasis, but that thing tolled and smashed up his collection, allowing a lot of stuff to escape.
Trazyn works through proxies and clones and other things that he can jump into when he inevitably gets himself killed for touching something he never should have put his hands on in the first place. The second someone
Blood Raven's coffee mug.
kills him for being a dick, he just Zeus deuces himself into a new body somewhere else. Ample examples of this exist due to the Spear of Vulcan, an artifact of Vulcan himself. Trazyn wants the Spear of Vulcan, and goes to get it only to meet up with the Forge Faster of the Salamander's Histan. The second Histan realized someone was trying to steal his dad's shit, the Forge Father took one look at him, saw Trazyn was a can, and opened up a can of his own. Histan pounded him into scrap metal, and everyone thought it was the end of it.
I didn't hear no bell.
Well, yeah, considering that pretty much if I remember correctly, pretty much every Necron warrior under his command, he'll just use them as a proxy if it suits him.
People would have decided it wasn't worth the effort, but no. Trazyn decides upon getting in a new body, he absolutely has to have the Spear of Vulcan. Trazyn claimed to have found an artifact called the Song of Entropy. So, to sum up about 30 minutes or more of lore into 2 or 3 sentences, Song of Entropy equals Artifact of Vulcan. Artifacts of Vulcan equals Salamanders want them. Salamanders want them into, oh lord, they coming. Yeah, he didn't get it the second time around either. He's standing a bunch of salamanders were hero posing on top of a pile of Necron corpses. There is too much lore about Trazyn to cover in a video like this. This can only be an introduction, so you'll forgive me for not going into an hour-long talk about his assholish behavior. He doesn't typically want to leave his stuff, but there have been a few times he has, including the 13th Black
Wait, is that an enslaver over there?
Crusade. A long time ago, Trazyn had stolen something called the Bell of St. Cristal and put it in his museum, and he had walked by it many times while sipping tea. The bell was supposed to start going apeshit the second Chaos was on the verge of taking over everything. Well, sure enough, it started ringing, and well, I don't know how loud it was, but it was loud enough to start wreaking havoc on his collection. In other words, people and things started getting out of their stasis fields and rapidly objecting to being put back in them. Trazyn grabbed the bell, threw it in the webway pool to piss off the Eldar, and then promptly figured out what was going on. He then grabbed his Dicky Decks and some Pokeballs with Imperial markings and set off to Cadia. Trazyn's goal was to stop chaos, get rid of a few things he was bored with, and maybe get a few new shiny things. Imagine being the Imperials and a Necron Lord just shows up beside you, screams, "Ultramarines, I choose you!" And suddenly a few squads of Ultramarines with a few Contemptor pattern dreadnoughts show up. Yeah, it was kinda just like that. Once Abaddon threw his fit and Cadia was on the verge of falling apart, Trazyn decided to get out of there, but first he saw a new shiny. Before Trazyn left the dying world of Cadia, he had a new exhibit. The Lord Castellan himself.
Creed.
Zakar Creed.
Trazyn also happens to actually be the favorite character of one of my friends for the exact reason of him as Old Man and said, making kleptomania a lifestyle choice, and also just being a huge dick to people. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed watching that with me. And that's all for tonight. Zakiziel signing off, and have a nice night, everyone.